what's up? Welcome back. Happy 2022. I am still injured. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm not doing so great. I have this, which is tendonitis, they said. My knee injury is back with a vengeance, so it's like pinching. And then my back is in like a dull, chronic, like achy kind of pain. So all of my ideas and plans for 2022 have kind of been halted. So today I'm just kind of talking about like what I'm thinking for the year. I think I'm going to do a vision board, like a digital vision board. I know that's kind of cheesy, but I feel really down for like 3 days and I just need something kind of fun. Let me show you what I've been trying to work on. So this is the kitchen. This is Bella. Hello. And then this is the pile up. It was all the way out to here, and that's like trash or donation. I can't remember. It's probably trash. And then this little pile up is the leftover clutter from what I reorganized several shelves in my office, and I can show you that in a bit. So we are just going to get ready together, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about like where my head's at and what I want to do this year. Like I was never one of those people that does New Year's resolution, but once I had my business, and yes, the lighting is very bad in here, so I don't even know how my makeup comes out, but this is what I have to work with. Ever since I had a business, I find myself at the end of the year, you go over your numbers. I find myself more in that mindset of like, okay, what is my focus going to be for the next year? And so in a way, it's made me a little bit like kind of cliche, but I have to set goals, because if I don't, then I'm just kind of like wishy-washy and nothing gets done that I want. It's just kind of like that saying, a goal without a plan is just a wish, or something like that. I'll put it up here if I can find it. Okay, if I open that window, it might be a little bit better light, but if you can see, side note, I am getting large amounts of gray hair. Can you see that? But instead of dyeing it, which I've definitely dyed it before, not regularly, but just sporadically, like, oh, there's a lot of gray hairs, let me dye that. I've decided to let my hair naturally become gray. If it's meant to go all the way gray, then it will. If it's meant to just be like part, like what it is now, then it will. But I'm going to try my best to embrace the aging process and not like hide from it or try to appear younger than I am. I am 38, so if anybody was wondering. Now, back to what we were talking about. This is what I had written down. That's kind of weird since I have the camera on. This was like so far what I've written down for the year that I want to focus on. I want to focus this year on making as much as I can with all of like the fabric and the supplies and all of the things that I have laying around the house, because I found myself falling into that trap of being that like hoardy type crafter that just keeps buying fabric and knowing damn well I don't have enough time to make that many projects for the fabric I was buying. That kind of set me into my other goal, which was I want to really go through all of the stuff I have laying around, not just my house, but where I keep my inventory. So my inventory is separate than my living space. So I want to go through all of the things I have listed on Poshmark and eBay, and all the things that I have in bins, and all of my craft supplies, all of my fabric, all of my art supplies, all of my paints. I want to sort through all of that stuff. Oh yeah, maybe this wasn't a good idea. P.S. I'm one of those people that was never taught how to do makeup. I was definitely a tomboy growing up, so this is, if anything, like a comical makeup video. But I'm really just getting ready, and I have so much to do. I feel overwhelmed. I feel depressed, and at the same time, I told myself that every 2 weeks I need to show up for YouTube so that I can get myself in a good routine. So sometimes we're just going to be kind of hanging out like we are this week. Okay, so let's take a look at the other things I wrote down that I wanted to work on this year. Last year I went down as a part-time reseller. I decided to dedicate last year, my main focus was learning how to upcycle and spending a lot of time sewing and getting familiar with my sewing machine, which I absolutely did. I'm very familiar with it. So now I'm kind of like wanting to take it up a notch on both sides. I want to get to listing 30 items a week for Poshmark and eBay, but I also want to try to complete some projects that are sellable. That might be kind of lofty, 1 to 2 a week. I don't know. Then I go to the gym twice a week, and then I'm gonna have 1 to 3 home workouts a week. This was like my plan before I got injured. So that was kind of a personal goal that is kind of depressing to look at right now in this moment. But we're gonna move on. I can still walk. I can still do light exercise. I do want to do shorter YouTube videos if at all possible. I have no idea if I'll actually do any of those ideas I wrote down. This is just kind of like a rough brainstorm of where my head's at right now. So yeah, and then I want to do more upcycles, but I also want to start pulling some of my craft supplies, which is kind of what I was talking about. I overbought on so many supplies. Like, it's insane. I can do a video on like my amount of fabric or craft supplies I have if you're interested, but I honestly don't even think anybody would want to see that. So that's where that's coming from. And I've definitely fallen into it and like fallen for it and done it before. And then I feel worse when I don't achieve that said result. And on a year like this year, I'm going in with 3 injuries into the year. So if I would just focus on like, oh, I'm going to get myself in the best shape of my life, I'm basically just setting myself up for a huge disappointment. Instead, I want to focus on things that are going to bring me a lot of fulfillment and long-term joy. And I find that when I'm making things, especially when I'm making things from materials that have been discarded or they're surplus, and if I wouldn't use it, then it would go into the landfill. When I'm able to use things like that and make things, it just brings me a lot of joy, and I feel like I'm doing something good, which I love. And if you're wondering why I'm even doing this video, it's because if I don't do a video every 2 weeks, I get out of the rhythm of it, and I have a lot of memory problems as is, and I do struggle with editing, and I do everything on my own. I do my own edits. I know they're not like that elaborate or anything, but you guys might be surprised to know that sometimes to edit like a 10-minute video, I've spent like 6 hours on that before. And it's almost embarrassing to admit that, but that's why I have to keep myself realistic. Like, I want to keep doing YouTube, and I feel like I have things that I want to share on YouTube, but every week was too much for me because, like, for instance, today I have a lot that I'm supposed to get done, and I really can't sit and film for like hours. But what I can do is I can kind of like just film a part of my day and like talk while I'm doing that, and then edit that in the most bare minimum way. And then like next week I can do something that it's gonna take a little bit more out of me as far as edits and like thinking back on some things and talking about things that maybe aren't the most fun things to think back and talk about. So I kind of balance it out like that is my strategy, and I'm sure a lot of people do not care. So literally all I've done in 2022 for my goals is those few pages I showed you. And then I have a ton of just blank pages. That's what I have. And then nothing else. So there's a lot of open room. It's like a good starting point. But as we can see, getting injured on my first P90 workout, like, kind of had to make some adjustments, and I've decided I'm going to focus far more on like what I'm eating than my workouts, because my body is clearly telling me that just because that worked the first time around to get in better shape and all that, and my main focus is because I have arthritis, and getting the extra weight off my joints is only going to benefit me. But instead of stressing out about like a timeline to get it done, I just every day try to focus on something that I can do for my health, whether it's something around the house, I can go for a walk, I can eat better, I can track what I'm eating, yada, yada, yada. I won't bore you with that. And if anybody's wondering why I stopped tracking my weight and my physical stuff here on YouTube, it's because I am currently in therapy. I see a psychiatrist once a month or once every 3 months, depending on how I'm doing. And she's decided that I'm going to do intermittent fasting, which I've been doing for about, how long have I been doing it? I've been doing it for at least a month and a half, if not 2 months. And that's not been that bad. My hands are kind of shaky. I'm fasting right now, so doing liquid eyeliner while I'm fasted should be a challenge. But where I was going with that was because I'm recovering from bulimia and I have issues with eating disorders, I'm not even a good candidate for intermittent fasting, but I'm still going to give it a try because my psychiatrist doesn't know about my bulimia, and I read a lot of the benefits of intermittent fasting, and I tried it one other time, but I didn't give it a real effort. I did it for like 2 or 3 days and then quit. But the longer I do it, the more I feel like it's something I can keep up with. And I do notice that I just eat less overall because I'm basically cutting out one of my meals. And so given my current condition, I think it's going to help me. I can't actually see that well in this mirror. I usually do this in my up-close mirror, but it's dirty right now. You may have heard a lot of stomach growls in some of my videos. There was a growl right there. It's because I'm fasting. I don't know when I learned about these little winged eyeliners eyes, but I just like how they remind me of like the old school like Hollywood look. And then I just do it in a more less dramatic way, just for like every day. If I had like a signature look, it'd probably be that I do that eyeliner thing a lot. That's kind of classic. I really need to do my eyebrows, but I'm not gonna do them today. So we're just gonna kind of brush them with this, whatever it's called. If you're wondering what kind of makeup I use, I just use drugstore stuff, e.l.f., one thing off Amazon. It's all like really affordable. I just don't spend a lot of money on makeup. I never have. Well, before I had makeup, I guess I spent money on MAC, but I had to kind of get off that, just like I had to get off some of my other spendy habits. I just watched that last clip and I feel like my hands look like grandma hands. They're so dry and like crackly. I can't. I keep putting on CeraVe, and no matter how much I put on, it just like evaporates into my skin. What is wrong with me, you guys? All right, so what are some of your goals for your businesses? Those of you that have small businesses, what are some of your goals for 2022? Maybe I can get inspired by you, because I'm definitely in a funk. I'm not giving up by any means, but I just like, sometimes I overwhelm myself with my thoughts, and I want to just kind of be realistic this year, a lot more realistic than I usually am. And so I think just focusing on my nutrition and overall just organizing all of my supplies and inventory, that's like my main goal for the year. And then, sorry if I'm blocking, but I have to just, I can't really do this from far back. I feel like I overdo it with a lot of things, including mascara, but just in my like life in general, I tend to overdo things. So I'm trying to be a little more simplistic with just realistic with what I can get done. And I don't want to like say, oh, I'm going to make 2 things that are sellable every week and then they're crappy quality. So that's the reason I'm focusing on accessories and not apparel, because I think I have a desire to eventually do apparel, but I don't I want to be able to do something that's manageable. So like accessories, they're smaller, I can use nice fabrics on them, they're not going to be washed all the time, so they will hold up a little bit better over the course of time, and they're going to be easier for me to complete accessories than full garments, which takes an insane amount of time just for somebody like with my skill level. So that's why I chose that. The finished look. What do you think? Does it look okay? I never really know. I just go with what I like. Lately, I love this lip color. It almost looks like I have no lip color on at all. And then I'm really into the neutral like eyeshadows. But for a while there, I was doing more of a smoky effect. But yeah, this is what I'm into currently. So I saved this till the end because I kind of am curious if you have a preference for like the type of videos. Since I'm not going to be putting out as many videos this year, I thought it'd be cool to like hear your feedback. Would you prefer to see some of the organization stuff? Would you want me to do more DIYs or outfits or fashion stuff? Or would you like me to keep it more towards like the heavier like addiction, whether it's my writing or my story times? The way I'm leaning now, I'm probably going to do half and half, like half addiction and then just half like this, like just me being current me. And then half of like digging kind of back into the past is what I'm leaning towards. But I would love to hear what you think. And if you want to share your goals, that'd be cool too. But if you don't do that, I completely understand. And maybe that is the way to go. But yeah, that's it for this week. I'll see you guys next time.